So the Raiders have themselves a new starting left tackle, and Pete Carroll actually confirmed who it's going to be. That's something we're going to dive into right now. Plus, there's a lot of other stuff going on. What's up, Raiders fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Raiders. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Raiders. So, Pete Carroll has come out and said straight up that veteran lineman Stone Forsythe is going to get the start at left tackle for the Raiders. In the presser, he gave Forsythe plenty of compliments, but at the same time, he also mentioned rookie tackle Charles Grant. He didn't outright say Grant would be part of a rotation or anything like that, but the way he worded things, it kind of felt like Forsythe could be on a tight leash. Carroll basically said, "We've been with him since the beginning, love his attitude, love how he works, he's smart, got the right mentality. He's already started 14, 15 games, some of them at left tackle. We know he can do it, that's why we went after him. It's just the situation we're in now that gives him this chance. He's ready, and I trust him out there. I've coached him before. Normally, we'd like to give O-linemen more time before throwing them in, but you don't always get that luxury. Charles is working like crazy too, just in case he's needed. If he has to step up, he'll be ready. But right now, Forsythe's the guy." So there it is, Pete Carroll flat out confirming Stone Forsythe is starting. And do you remember Carroll drafted him back in Seattle and used him as their swing tackle all through his time there, even sticking around for a year after Carroll left. The Raiders basically brought him in for that same role. Personally, I think it's a smarter move than people give it credit for. Some fans blasted the decision, even making a viral clip where Forsythe lost a handful of reps and acting like he's the worst lineman alive. I just don't agree. I've watched Thayer Munford, who some fans thought could be the franchise tackle of the future, and Forsythe is definitely better than him. Even DJ Glaze, who's been up and down this year. Can you really say he's clearly better? I don't think so. Forsythe isn't some all-pro or Pro Bowl stud, but he's not a disaster either. If the coaches are smart and give him help, the team can manage. We can take example of the Bears here. When they faced the Raiders, their right tackle was out, and after a couple drives, they benched their left tackle. They ended up moving Theo Benedette, who was already filling in at right tackle, over to left tackle, then threw a rookie into his first NFL action at right tackle. So, for most of that game, they had two backups starting at tackle, and you barely noticed. Why? Because they schemed it right. Tight ends chipped, running backs chipped. They never left the kid out there one-on-one with Crosby. They made sure he had help. That's exactly what the Raiders need to do with Forsythe. Don't just put him on an island and expect miracles. Now, where we're really going to feel the difference is the run game. Pass blocking, you can cover for guys, use doubles, chips, sliding protection. But in the run game, it's one-on-one, man versus man. And if you watch the first 4 weeks, the Raiders had their best runs going left, behind Kolton Miller. That's because Kolton was moving people and opening lanes. To the right side, it wasn't nearly as good, since DJ Glaze isn't that type of run blocker. Now, with Forsythe in Miller's spot, you lose that push. He's just not that kind of blocker. So I think against the Colts, we'll see it right away. The ground game isn't going to be as effective. Yeah, you might get some chunk runs here and there, maybe someone else makes a great block, and Forsythe just holds up enough. But overall, the run game takes a step back, without Kolton. Carroll also talked a bit about Charles Grant, and honestly, I thought that part was interesting. He said Grant is preparing as if he could go in right now. That makes me think they're not locking themselves into Forsythe for the long haul. Sure, today Forsythe probably gives you a steadier floor, but in 2-3 weeks, I could see Grant taking over. The upside is crazy. He's long, athletic, 6 feet 5 inches or 6 feet 6 inches, and really powerful. Reminds me of someone like Olu Fashanu, at least from a build standpoint. The difference is Fashanu dominated in college, while Grant didn't face that level of competition, but the tools are there. So I wouldn't be surprised if down the line we see Grant in Forsythe's spot. Carroll even hinted at it when he said, if he has to go, he'll go. That could mean injury, but it could also mean if Forsythe struggles. And here's where I'll be critical of Carroll. If Forsythe isn't cutting it, don't wait 2 or 3 games to make a change. Do it in-game if you need to. If he struggles for 2 drives, try Grant in the 3rd. If Grant looks just as rough, you can go back. It's the left tackle job. You have to stay flexible. Otherwise, you risk dropping winnable games. The Raiders also made another move. Aaron Wilson reported that Kolton Miller went on injured reserve. They pulled tight end Carter Runyon up to the active roster and signed free agent tackle Leroy Watson to the practice squad. This one's interesting. Watson isn't a star, but he's got some experience. Last season, he started 4 games at right tackle for the Titans, Gave up a sack, a quarterback hit, and 7 pressures over 191 snaps. Not awful, but his PFF grade wasn't good, especially in pass protection. Before that, he was with the Browns in the preseason, then most recently spent time with the Vikings. So he's bounced around, but has NFL snaps under his belt. What's worth noting is the Raiders had other options. Caleb Rogers played tackle in college, but they clearly don't trust him as an emergency option since they went out and signed Watson. Even more telling, they passed on a guy who'd been with them in camp, someone who already knew the system, and instead chose Watson, who's brand new. That says they value having a veteran body with real snaps over a familiar but untested one. Okay, now let's talk about Ashton Jeanty. So, this past game, he switched back to his old stance. The one people are jokingly calling the Michael Myers stance because of how it looks. And right away, his production went crazy. When he wasn't using that stance, he was averaging like 17 touches and under 50 yards a game. With it, he got 23 touches, 155 total yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's a huge jump. 2 of those TDS were receiving, which can happen any week depending on play design, but still, he was way more effective running the ball too, with a 60-yard touchdown run and several other solid gains. Right now, Ginty actually leads the league in runs of 10+ yards. That's wild. He says he just feels more comfortable in that stance. Some people think his comments about it were a shot at Chip Kelly, because Kelly was the one who forced him to change it earlier. Chip had said he wanted Jeanty lower, like a basketball defender, so he changed it up. Now, Jeanty's basically saying, nah, I feel better this way. And clearly it worked. But we have to see this in the upcoming game as well, because it wasn't just the stance, but the Bears' defensive line is more of a power unit. Big guys, not necessarily fast or athletic. The Raiders' O-line, which is smaller and quicker, actually matched up well against them. That helped. Against the Colts, it won't be as easy. They've got quicker guys like Kwity Paye, DeForest Buckner, and Grover Stewart inside. So, we'll see if Jeanty keeps it up. But regardless, he's more confident in that stance, and it clearly showed up. Last thing, the defense. The Raiders made a small change, and it was something I've been wanting. 2 things, really. First, I wanted them to stop playing so much base defense. They didn't fix that. They're still in base way too much. Against the Bears, they had 46 snaps in base, only 13 in nickel. Sometimes that included Jamal Adams, and people will say he's basically a linebacker, which is true, but it still means you've got 3 linebacker types on the field, and that slows you down. Against a hurry-up team, that can burn you because you get stuck with mismatches. And so far, we haven't faced an elite quarterback/offensive coordinator combo that can really punish it, but those days are coming. The one thing they did change, though, was going away from single high safety looks. Earlier in the season, they were almost always in a 1-high shell, stacking the box. Against the Bears, for the first time, they leaned more on 2 high shells. That's huge because it prevents explosive plays. And sure enough, the Bears didn't hit us with any giant 60-yard bombs like other teams had. They had a few 20 to 25-yard completions, but no backbreakers. That's exactly what 2 deep looks are meant to stop.